Bring your attention to the space your body is occupying. Notice that whole space from head to toes, front to back, side to side. And notice what it is that's arising in that space. Physically, there's physical sensations, energy, thoughts. Our experience arises in that space. And we think about things that are not in that space, but we're actually located in that space. Let's start with noticing the physical sensations in that space, starting with the outer edges of the space. The skin is the largest organ in the body, is what I've read. So if you were to think of your skin as the edge of your personal space, a space where your body is occupying, and then on the outside of that space, it's mostly empty, but there's little layers of emptiness between our skin and our clothes. If you're sitting or lying back against something, there's not much space between you and that. So bring your attention to the back of your body and notice the space behind your head. There's your skull, whatever muscles are there, your skin, your hair. Notice the space around your hair and in and through your hair, the back of your head, the sides of your head. Notice the space behind your neck. Depending on how you're positioned, if you have something behind your neck directly, you might have an empty space there. You might be able to feel your hair if you move your head, depending if you have hair in that area. And what's behind your shoulders? If you're sitting upright, it will be just empty air or perhaps your clothes. If you're leaning back against a bed or a chair or a floor, you'll feel that. What's just behind your body? Through the upper back, the mid back, between your shoulder blades, behind your lower ribs. And then there's that natural curve of the spine where you may not feel the same thing. There might be empty air, there might be something else. But it's happening just outside the skin of your lower back. And underneath your hips, your bum, and behind your legs, the back of your thighs. And when we're resting on something, we can really feel there's a pressure. We can feel the contact. So if you're sitting, for me, I'm sitting and I can feel the contact of the chair partway down the back of my legs, but not all the way to the knees. So notice really specifically Does it feel like in the space just behind the skin of the back of your legs and then the back of your knees, through your calves and your ankles, your heels? And you might have a visual or it's a felt sense or both. Bring your attention back to the whole of your body and what's happening in the space just outside the skin on the back of your body. And notice if there's any sense of danger or threat in that space behind your body. Most likely there isn't. And so that would be helpful to know. We could let our body relax. If you're leaning back in a chair that's really solid and you know it's going to hold your weight, you could relax in a different way than if you're leaning back against something that's precariously balanced. And now let's notice the space just inside the skin of the back of your body. And start by noticing the whole space that your body is occupying, the space around the outside of your body, and the skin. We can notice there's a feeling of air. If it's a different temperature than our body, we can feel the air on our skin, or if there's a breeze. We can tell that there's movement of air into our body and out of our body with breath. We have the sense perception of that. And if you bring your attention to the top of your head and then back into your skull, what's your perception of what's happening just inside the skin at the back of your head? Not even so much are there muscles there or is it the bone right there? What's the physiology or the anatomy of it? Although we certainly notice that. Also, what's in that space? What's your perception of that space just inside the skin at the top and the back of your head? And the skin just behind your ears. What's just inside of that? Coming down through the neck. A lot of us are very familiar with muscle tension through the neck. So a moment ago, we were paying attention to the skin and the space just behind the skin on the outside. So, what's on the space on the inside? And how do you know? Is it part visual? Is it sensation? And then, without losing track of what's inside the skin, broaden your perspective so that you're noticing the whole of your back, what's in that space behind your neck, just on the outside of your skin, what's on the space just inside the skin at the back of your neck, and your shoulders, through your throat, so that you're aware of a broader view, a broader perspective. And notice the space out to the sides of your neck, to the front of your throat. And we know without opening our eyes what's in that space. There might be furniture, might be the collar of your clothes. Just notice the space itself and your experience noticing the space. What's in that space? And then do the same as we bring our attention down into the back, top of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, those large muscles of the upper back. Refresh your memory what's just on the outside of the skin in that part of your body. And what's just on the inside? What are the sense perceptions? Can you feel any tightness maybe? Is there pain? And notice the space itself. These perceptions are happening in a certain space. When I mention the back of the shoulders and your upper back, you don't pay attention to your toes. Your mind doesn't go to the space across the room or outside of the window or something. We really always know where our body is and what's going on with it. And notice what's happening in those muscles in that space, just on the inside of the skin of your upper back. Notice the particular sensations and how your mind is labeling them. And then broaden your view again so that you're noticing the whole space that your body is occupying and all of the sensations in that space. So without losing track of the sensations just inside the skin of the upper back, go to a wider focus. So you're noticing your whole body again. You might notice the movement of your body with your breath. And notice that you're aware of the space. And what's your awareness of what's in the space? So if you're going just outside the skin and then just inside the skin, what's the difference? What's the same? And how do you know with certainty what's a fraction of an inch behind your body and in front of your skin? Let your attention roll further down through your lower back. And notice again the space just outside your skin on your lower back. What's happening there? Is there empty space in that hollow, that curve of the spine? Are you lying back or lying down on something that's covering and filling that space? And is there any sensation in that area, especially the sensation that might be in your lower back if you have any tension or tightness or pain? Notice that area just inside the skin. And we know from our own experience in our body and also from pictures and from moving and feeling and sensing that there's muscles that run just in under the skin in the lower back. Most of us have probably experienced pain in the lower back at times. It might be pretty insignificant or it might be quite chronic and strong. Right now, we're noticing what's present now, and there might be memories of what was present or what sometimes is here. And then notice the space itself. And whatever sensations are here, they move with our body. They're not actually in the space or attached to the space. If we were to move our body a few inches away, the sensations would come with us. Notice that there's no inherent sensation in the space itself. The sensation is in our body, in that space that our body's in. And let your attention flow down through the rest of your back, behind your hips, behind your legs, to your feet. And notice what draws your attention in the whole back of your body now. Is there a place in the back of your body where there's some tightness, some tension, some pain, maybe? And notice precisely, is it on the inside of your skin? Just right there? Is it further into your body? Where exactly is it in that space? It might be similar, it might be different than it was just a moment ago. Sensation isn't very steady. And then notice the space all around whatever you're paying attention to. You're paying attention to somewhere in your back. Notice that that sensation doesn't permeate your whole body. Notice where it starts and where it stops. What does it feel like in the middle? A little bit out from the middle, out towards the edges. And then keeping the center of that sensation present in your attention. Broaden your perspective again so you're aware of your whole body. Everything that's going on in the space of the body. Notice the space between your left little toe and the toe next to it, between the thumb on your right hand and the index finger on your right hand, between your earlobes and your head. Notice the space that the air is flowing through. And as you're feeling that coolness of the inhale and the warmer exhale, keep your attention really focused there for a minute. Just that inch or two of space, and down into the throat, maybe. And then keeping your attention there, also notice the whole of your body from head to toes, and that perception of air flowing is happening in a certain part of that space. We're going to finish the practice in a moment. Before you do, just review the practice. What was coming up? What were you noticing? What was your experience with it? The beginning and the middle and the end. What's happening now in your body, your mind? And then when you're ready, open your eyes.